Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's Pick a Card Stone reading, we are asking the question, what the F is going on? What is going on in your life? Why is it happening? Essentially what we're going to be doing today is looking at your current circumstances and elaborating on them. We're going to be looking at, why is this happening? Is there anything that you can do to shift this, or is there a deeper purpose? I'm kind of going to make every reading unique, so I don't have a reading breakdown today, just because I want to see where each reading flows. So I don't know what's going on in this reading, but I guess we will both see. So we have 3 different groups for you to choose from today. It's absolutely okay to choose based on the stone or on the image. You might recognize some of these faces. Feel free to shout it out if you want to. But I'm going to stay mum on them just because if you don't recognize them, I don't want to alter your what you're drawn to in any way. So we also have underneath them the energies of your current circumstances, and this is timeless, so whenever you are watching this is when it is meant for you. So with the 3 different groups that we have to choose from today, starting with group number 1, we have this first fabulous face and this Malachite hexagon on top. And then for group number 2, we have this next fabulous face and this Larimar butterfly on top or above, I guess. And then finally for group number 3, we have this very fabulous face and a red heart on top or above. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one. With the energy check, obviously, if what I'm describing, you're like, that's not my current circumstances, feel free to try a different group. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead now and do our little Make-A-Wish. No mini message today, but I thought it would be a great time to set intentions to release and do away with things in our lives. So we're using the Banish candle today, and this is a great time to remind you that it's not only my candles that you can use code Xoxo10 for 10% off on, it is all candles on Angelic Magic 888 site. So this is the Banish candle, and what I want you to do, first of all, if you want to tell me what you have left in the past or what you want to banish or what you have banished, feel free to let me know that in the comments. But if you would just like to take a second and focus on the candle and just focus on what you would like to leave your life or what you feel like you need protection over, feel free to do that. May the things that are meant to leave be gone, and may yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. Okay, so thank you for being here. Thank you for making a wish with me. Thank you for letting me read for you. I'm going to go ahead and get into those now and see what magic and hopefully clarity awaits us. So thank y'all so much for being here, and I will see you in your reading. Hi there, pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the first card and the Malachite hexagon, this is going to be your reading on what the F is going on in your life and what you need to know about it. So these first 3 cards are going to represent what is going on, at least just objectively. So if this resonates, this is your reading. If it doesn't, I would try a different group. And yeah, thank you for being here, if I didn't already say that. So let's go ahead and see what the figgity fuck is going on. So to start, we have Saraswati. We have Lake Midnight, You're Not Stuck Here, Blockages, Stagnant Energy, Self-Pity, and we have Financial Constraints. Well, that's a mood, especially in this economy, right? I feel like we always be saying that. Anyway, I feel like the first thing, like, we'll talk about what's going on, but I think the first thing that you need to know is that you're okay. It's going to be okay. And please be conscious of how much you're beating yourself up and being hard on yourself for circumstances that are either outside of your control or circumstances that you are currently working on but need to give yourself patience and grace about. Because what's going on for you, I can definitely see, number one, we have financial constraints here. So it seems like money is a little tight. You might be struggling with money, or you might even be making a certain change that is leading to financial constraints. This is definitely a time where you're having to be more conservative and prioritize your needs. But also I can see that this is probably, it could be directly tied to the financial constraints, or the financial constraints could just be adding to this. But it seems like it's really hard for you right now to be optimistic, to be positive, to feel like you're going to move out of this time. And let me tell you, you will. It will be okay. But I also just want to validate that, like, where you're at, it is absolutely okay to feel like things suck, to not be happy right now, to be frustrated, to be I don't think the shame is valid. I don't think the beating yourself up is valid, but it's totally valid to feel shitty. It's totally valid to be unable to be at 100% right now. And you deserve to give yourself grace around that. I can definitely see here, you might work with Saraswati, you might be Hindu, or you might just be someone who gets a lot of inspiration from the divine. And it's quite possible you could be waiting for divine inspiration to hit you in some way to move through this process. Especially if you have a creative career. Even if you don't have a creative career, maybe you want to switch into a creative career and you're considering, or maybe you literally did that and now you're facing the realities of, maybe you don't have a regular income. Maybe that's a lot more stressful than you anticipated. It just kind of seems like you might be feeling almost immobilized by feelings of stress and worry and uncertainty and just really struggling. And that's okay. And one thing I also want to say as well is that your finances may not even be as bad as you think they are, but the fear of it getting worse or the fear of it not continuing might be impacting you as well. I can definitely see here that for some of you, despite these circumstances, you are having a lot of creative inspiration right now. And if you're not, you either will be, or that's one thing that you're being led to through this time. I actually want to read Saraswati really quickly. This is the deck that this card is from, because I do feel like it'll be helpful. One of the things that I do think a positive of this time could be that you're having a lot of creative inspiration, or you almost have no choice but to be creative in order to kind of deal with this energy. It might even be literally just harder to move right now, to like get out of bed, to get things done, to even do things you enjoy. But for others of you, there is still like, for some of you, like there's kind of two camps in terms of the creative element. Like for some of you, your creativity is flowing and you might be wondering, like, is this going to help me through these challenges that I'm having? And the answer is yes. And for others, you may be needing or wanting to be creative or feeling called in that direction, like using your creativity in a way that could support you through this process. And you may be feeling like you're lacking inspiration or waiting for inspiration to strike. And one thing I will say is that movement is your friend in the near future. And that doesn't have to be like exercising or anything like that, which I mean, I would recommend exercising, even if it's just a small thing, because that's helpful. But literally just like moving around your place, just staying moving, even if it's just lazily walking around. I feel like that could really help you not sit in energies or fears that make you feel stagnant and more stuck, because I can definitely see here you're on the precipice. Oh yes, you are on the precipice of a great shift forward. And anyway, let me read Saraswati real quick. Goddess of creativity, intuition, and insight. Saraswati appears when you have surrendered to creativity, the endless stream that we only catch glimpses of but can feed us for life. She is the sacred river flowing with divine wisdom, nourishing us with nectar for the soul. Art, music, dance, literature. You may draw upon Saraswati when new ideas are flourishing and you are channeling universal wisdom. One thing I am hearing right now is if you're experiencing this, like what I just read, and you are feeling guilty about that because you're feeling like I should be job hunting, or I should be doing XYZ, or getting something else done. One thing that I'm hearing is if you are being consumed by passion or creativity in a way where it is just too good to push away, or challenging to push away, or just the one thing that makes you feel good, there's a reason why this is happening, and you're meant to tap into that. Trust that there's a reason why you're being led to that. And don't shame yourself for it, because it's actually helping you. Saraswati appears in the ingenious moment when you think of something straight from the heavens, when you lose yourself in dance, when you become one with the music. She is the very source of all inspiration, embodying the cosmos through communication, meditation, intuition, speech, and sound. Saraswati has come to you to deliver the message that to pursue that creative idea with full force. You are so fully supported by her blessings. So maybe you've recently gotten a creative inspiration that you want to act on, but you're feeling like you're trapped. And one thing that I'm hearing about that is that you may be placing expectations of what you think you need, when in reality, you may need a lot less. Or there may be things that you can start with. If there are certain things that you need, like financial resources for, there could be groundwork or other things that you could do to set yourself up now, and it's almost like these things will come in the future. But I feel like one big thing that's going on right now, like, and what this is trying to show you is that, number one, your financial situation is not a direct reflection of your worth or your ability to be like a good human. And number two, your financial situation is not a punishment. It is not a punishment whatsoever. Obviously, when it comes to like spirituality and material resources, there's a lot of different concepts there. And I do think that like the intersection of capitalism and spirituality can create some sort of like messy ideas. You know, it's kind of funny to think about, you know, thousands of years ago, different economic systems existed, and you know, just the way that humans interacted were different. You know, they lived in much smaller communities and lived off the land and were more self-sufficient, and like man, you are just one person and you are in a much bigger system, and it is okay to give yourself grace. But it's also, I would also highly recommend not giving up on yourself and having hope, because I feel like one thing that is really hurting you right now is probably overthinking or just deep fear about what is going to happen. Are you going to make it through? Are you going to have what you need? Are you going to be supported? The answer is yes, but you need to stop waiting for it to just happen. I feel like actually one of the things that's really making things hard is because you're getting stuck in your head, because you're feeling stuck, it's like you're waiting for something to get you moving again, when in reality, I think getting moving just in ways where like even if you don't have the energy to get out of bed, even if you just have a pen and a piece of paper and you're writing things down or drawing or anything like that, I feel like that could be helpful. Also, chanting Saraswati's mantra, which is right here. You could even play it. I'm sure there are YouTube audios. That could be helpful in connecting to her energy, or connecting to these energies in general: creativity, intuition, and insight. Because I definitely think those three things are not only going to help you move through this cycle, but also help resolve certain problems that you're having. But this is just what is going on. So for those of you that are in the position where you're needing to be creative, but you're maybe feeling stagnant or blocked, or you have no idea, I definitely think that is something you're being led to. That will be helpful and supportive. But like the biggest thing that you just need to know is like what is going on right now is not a punishment. It is not a moral failing or a reflection of your value. It is just quite literally you living in a society, just being at a certain place in your life. Like money fluctuates, things fluctuate, economies fluctuate. Like, I mean, even just the idea that we have an economy is kind of like wild, right? Like, humans created that. Like, we're in human created systems that are not divine. But the cool thing is that the divine can help us in those human systems. And one thing that I would look into is Louise Hay's talks about prosperity consciousness. I think they could be really useful for you. Even if you listen to them and you don't believe them, maybe just try and like ask yourself, what would it be like to even just open yourself up to that? Because like, worst case scenario, you open yourself up to it and nothing changes. Best case scenario, you open yourself up to it and you feel better, and that leads to more openness to inspiration. And that's a big thing. When you are stuck in these stagnant energies, when you're stuck in your head, when you are immobilized by worry, that makes it all the more challenging for you to listen to your intuition, for you to be malleable enough to inspiration or to doing things in a different way. It's just almost like let's say you need a window open in your home for divine inspiration to flow in, but you've got all the windows closed and the blinds shut. It's like inspiration can't get in because you've shut everything out and you've shut down. And like, that's not something to be ashamed of. That's so normal and human and real. And I think one of the things that you do need to know is that you're being way too hard on yourself. And one of the things that's going on is a challenging time that you're going through is being exacerbated by how you are beating yourself up for it and the interpretations you may be having about what this time for you means. You may be feeling like things just aren't meant to happen for you, or that you are failing, or that you are losing, or that everything is going to shit. And that's just not true. You might very well be in a low period right now, but that does not mean the best thing about low periods is that it gets better. And also, you've got this. You're fine. It'll be okay. Like, and part of you being fine is also acknowledging and validating if you're not fine and doing what you can to get support. And if you can't get that, just at the very least doing what you can to be there for yourself and comfort yourself. But I'm telling you, you might be shocked at how just listening to some of your favorite uplifting music and dancing like a goofy person could just at the very least, it may not make you feel like $1 million. Maybe feeling that way could be a form of manifestation. It may not make you feel amazing, but it may at the very least get your brain moving in a way where you feel less stuck, and you might feel just a little bit lighter. And I think that's better than nothing, right? And I also think that there's a message here about not letting yourself get stuck in all or nothing thinking. Like, a little bit is better than nothing. So even if all you can do is just get out of bed and take a shower and get yourself some water, that's enough. Like, whatever is all you can do, that's enough. And even if that's nothing, and maybe you literally just can't get out of bed, using that device of yours on your phone to find resources, like free resources, for example, on YouTube. There are plenty of powerful lectures from inspirational people, anything that uplifts you, anything that just makes you feel better or brings you comfort, and not in an escapism way, but rather in an inspirational way, in a motivational way that's like, I can do this. You know, if you are struggling to get off the internet, if you're doom scroll on like the hope posting subreddit, or look for inspirational content. Look for the things that you want to embody. Just even if you can't embody the thing, you can, by seeking inspiration for it, that's even better than just sitting in nothing and sitting in these crappy feelings that you already know aren't helping you. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into your tarot now and start asking questions. Yeah, look at me cutting the deck. I release myself from self-inflicted binds. You are not trapped here, and this is not a punishment, and you are not bad or wrong. You are just human and understandably reacting to a very chaotic and scary world. But you are one brave baddie, and I know that you're going to be just fine. no matter how hard it gets. But truthfully, I feel like a lot of the hard stuff that you've been facing is on its way out. And you're going to be okay. Like, that's the most important thing. You're going to be okay. But while I'm shuffling, I just want to shout out everyone that takes the time to leave me a little like, a subscribble, a little comment, letting me know what's up and how it resonates. Because all of that is just super helpful. And letting the ads play as well is super helpful. So just thank you to everyone who does that. That's a great way to support me and exchange energy with me. And especially, you know, times are tough. And just know you don't have to help me financially in any way. I mean, like, actually just like letting the ads play does help me financially and helps you for free. But like literally just leaving a like or a comment, or even just sending me love, like that is a way of exchanging energy, and I'm deeply grateful and appreciative of it. And that's another thing I was gonna say and I forgot. You're allowed to like not be happy with your circumstances. That doesn't make you ungrateful. Like, practicing gratitude and focusing on like what you do have could be great, but I would say keep it small. Like, you know, when you have a stuffy nose and you realize like you took breathing easily for granted, like doing things as simple as like, oh, I'm grateful I can breathe, I'm grateful I have this cozy blanket, like that might be helpful. But also don't shame yourself and feel like you're ungrateful. There's nothing universal that you're like, if you believe in spirit guides and things like that, they're not like looking at you being like, oh, wow, Padawan's being so ungrateful. Like, if anything, they're just like, oh, I wish Padawan would stop being so hard on themselves. I wish they would know that we're here and we love them and it's gonna be okay. Like, our perception of life is, you know, linear, and in the physical world is a bit different than how it operates for other beings and other planes of existence. But it's really easy to get caught up in our perceptions and feel like we're stuck, or like that this is the end of the world. But in reality, it's not. In fact, I feel like if it's not the end of the world, is actually, I feel like you're on the precipice of entering a new world for yourself that that not only is one of your creation, but is also one that you may be convinced right now can't happen, or isn't possible to go back to. And I feel like you might find that you're actually wrong about that. Okay, so I want to start by asking, Spirit, what does pile 1 need to know about this period of time? What is most imperative for them to understand about what they are currently going through? What insight could be beneficial? So we have, I have the energy I need to realize my goals, and it came out in reverse. So I do feel like one thing you need to know, I feel like number one, this is reiterating what I was saying about not waiting for the energy to come to you or the inspiration to come to you, especially if you are someone who is motivated by inspiration or passion. I would look at what your Mars placement is in your birth chart, because Mars dictates action, and if you know what sign it's in, you can maybe get some ideas of what motivates you and what is best for you to take action. But I feel like what you really need to know about this time is that you will become more energetic as you move through this energy. Like, I feel like there's kind of this cycle that you're stuck in where you're exhausted and feel like you don't have energy, and so you're like, well, I'll just wait for the energy to come back to me, or I'll just wait for the inspiration to come to me, and then that'll get me moving. But in reality, because it's not coming, it's probably stressing you out more, and you're probably doing things to distract yourself that are even more energetically draining. And so it's almost like you're trying to get yourself in a better position, but it's almost like you're keeping yourself stuck where you're at because you're feeling like you need to know exactly what to do in order to make a move, or you need to have a perfect idea or something like that. Like, I literally just heard, like, just get writing, even just writing down like what you're experiencing, your frustration, your exhaustion, whatever. I feel like that could be helpful. But also, like, one thing you need to know is that you may be in a time right now where your energy is just less. You know, maybe you are sick, maybe you're dealing with illness of some kind, maybe you are just stretched more thin, and the stress is creating more exhaustion. And I feel like one thing that Spirit is really saying is that that's okay. Like, when it comes to stagnancy and feeling stuck, it is better for you to be stuck while you're asleep. It's better to use that stuckness to sleep or truly ground and rest and relax your brain than it is to sit and ruminate. So like if you are dead set on like, I cannot move from this spot, I cannot do anything right now, focus on what could I do right now to at the very least feel as relaxed as possible. Like Google breathing techniques, like Google, use the internet to your benefit, use free resources to your benefit, and really just inquire within yourself, you know, how could I support myself right now and not shame myself, beat myself up, or try to force myself, and instead just be gentle with myself, because that's what's going to lead to more movement. But also, I feel like there is the kind of this energy of, you need to know that like a lot of your energy right now, I do feel like, is going to keeping you feeling stuck. And so being present and aware of that and how that's happening, I think could be really helpful for you. But also challenge yourself to just start saying, I have more energy than I realize. Wow, I'm so energetic today. Even if you're not, I need to do that too. So I pinky promise you, I'm gonna talk all the time about how energetic I am. I'm so energetic. I have so much energy. I'm totally not lethargic and tired all the time, ever. Even though you and I both may relate to that, there's almost kind of a challenge here to not push yourself beyond what is healthy, and not shame yourself for when you can't do something. But if you have energy and know that, you know, maybe you don't have the energy to be productive in some other way or do something hard, but maybe you have the energy to write in your journal or dance a little dance or sing a song or take a walk, do that. Just anything that can get you moving. Because I think it's when you're in that position and you're less, like, in your brain is in a certain state where it's more open and receptive and not in a loop of constant thought and anguish, that's when the energy and passion and inspiration you're looking for and expecting to receive, like, that's when you're going to tap into it. And I think it's kind of a co-creative process, especially for you, where the universe is not going to hand you this inspiration on a silver platter, because it's almost like, in order to receive the inspiration, and it's not a thing where it's like you have to earn it, it's just a matter of like where your consciousness needs to be, like the place that your brain needs to be in, the topics that you're focused on, the things that you would need to see or experience emotionally or visually or whatever. It's like those things are what is going to prompt and trigger the openness for that inspiration, or create the mental connections necessary to bring about some form of inspiration you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So don't think of it as like, I need to do XYZ in order to earn it. It's not about earning. It's just about literally getting yourself like primed and ready, you know? It's like just getting yourself open to receive it, I guess. So I want to know what you can do to eliminate blockages that you may be unaware of or that may be helpful. So what can pile 1 do to eliminate blockages and kind of get moving? Yeah, 8 of Wands, which is literally just the movement card, the action card, get moving. I manifest multiple opportunities. And Temperance, I find clarity through calm. So I feel like you maybe want to pay attention to how much caffeine you're consuming, or what you're doing to try to get more energy, because you might find that maybe that's actually draining you instead of helping you. But one thing I do think is like patience with yourself. You know, it might take time to build yourself up to just be more active in your day-to-day. And I do think exercise could be helpful for this, because it does seem like for a lot of you, you actually have an excess of mental energy. You just don't realize it because you're because you're struggling to be present and see above what's going on, you're like rooted in it. So there isn't opportunities for you to be like, oh, I'm spending all my energy ruminating, because you're in the rumination and feeling the feelings and probably dealing with fight, flight, or freeze responses. And for a lot of you, I do feel like there's a freeze response here. But I do feel like, the two ways to deal with blockages are get moving in any way, especially in ways that don't seem terrible or daunting to you. Simple things, small things, walking to the end of your street and back, dancing a little dance, reading a book that you enjoy, listening to an audiobook while you wash a single dish, like just anything. Anything is better than nothing. And with the Temperance card being here as well, not pressuring yourself to have answers, and in fact giving yourself permission to be like, I don't know, but all I do know is that this panic isn't helping me. What can I do to find calm? What can I do to be gentle with myself? What can I do to just surrender the need to have answers? Because that surrendering is what is going to bring you more answers. But I also think that you are really wanting to go from 0 to 150, and I think that you maybe need to release your expectations about how quickly you're going to move through this process. It's actually a lot faster than you realize, but I feel like once you start gaining momentum and are just kind of out of the pits of stagnancy in general, you might be like, okay, well, I've had a little bit of taste of this. Now I want everything. Now I want the full buffet, where it's like, no, you're meant to build up to this so that you don't get too overwhelmed or that you don't get burnt out. It might take you a minute to just get used to getting into a different groove. Like, you have to remember that the longer you stay in a certain state, the more that your brain, creates pathways to reinforce that. We are creatures of habit, and it is going to be natural that you are going to want to revert to whatever habits you've had. And I also feel like just paying attention to your heart and just paying attention to what makes your heart feel inspired, what makes you feel open-hearted. I think those things could be helpful for you as well. And I feel like, honestly, you will gain more energy as you just combat this challenging energy through movement, through being gentle with yourself, through being kind to yourself, and not accepting negative rhetoric or the bullying that you may be and the bullying that you may be doing towards yourself. But I want to ask now what you need to know about these financial constraints. So, Spirit, is there any guidance that pile 4 needs to know? Okay, so we have the 5 of Swords, I will heal myself, and the 8 of Cups, I accept my situation without resistance. So it is quite possible that these financial constraints are a result of you being fired, or you having to walk away from a situation that brought security but made you emotionally miserable. Or maybe you don't have financial constraints currently, but you know that by walking away from your situation, they will be created. And one thing that I'm hearing is not only will you be happier than you are now, like, it will be easier to accept those constraints when you have the emotional liberation, but also your financial prospects will improve. Number one, as you accept them, because this 8 of Cups and 5 of Swords is really reiterating the mental and emotional cycle you've been in, where you've been beating yourself up and just feeling exhausted and feeling stuck. Your mentality is definitely not helping your ability to be open to creativity. I think one of the things that you need to know is that there is an infinite amount of inspiration and resources available to you. Like, this is a world of abundance, and you may not be able to see them and you may not have access to them right now, but you will get there. And I feel like one thing that you need to know about your financial situation is, number one, do not beat yourself up about it, like I was saying earlier. And number two, know that you are walking away from the circumstances that contributed to that and headed towards a more prosperous time. And even if that prosperous time means less money in the bank, you will have more energy and more joy. And that will likely lead to more money in the bank, period. But even if it doesn't, you're going to realize you have more with less. But I feel like for a lot of you, you're currently experiencing these constraints, and that's leading to blockages that are making it hard for you to move forward, that are making it hard for you to trust in your path and trust in your ability to create and move through challenging cycles. And so I feel like what Spirit is really saying is like, what you need to know here is, don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like you have to get everything solved. And don't feel like this is the end. I think one of the most helpful things that you can do when it comes to improving your financial situation is to get a handle on your internal dialogue, what your beliefs are about what you can receive. I'm telling you, Louise Hay, prosperity consciousness, I think it could be very, very, very helpful for you. And it might be really confronting and upsetting and challenging to listen to. You might be like, this is bullshit and I don't believe a damn word of it. Keep going. Because you're not any worse off, especially if you're stuck in bed. Like, I just feel like she even has, and even if you don't agree, like, you don't have to agree with everything that someone says, but you can still find what is helpful in it, and know that this is not forever, and you will move through it, and you will be okay. And one thing you need to know is that whatever is occurring in your life materially and financially right now, it is not a punishment. It is not a sign that you're doing something wrong, but it does seem like for some of you, it is something that is a catalyst to propelling you forward. For others, it does seem like it's something that actually could lead to more creative inspiration. And for others, it just could be circumstances of life that you don't need to beat yourself up for, and just accept that that's where you're at right now, but that's not where you'll be forever. And that in fact, you are moving towards more every day, like more of you, more of life, more of what you need, and trust that your needs will be taken care of. And I think actually one thing that will be really helpful with that is like, especially if money fears or things like that have been immobilizing, that makes it harder to create or do anything. So just working on the mental discipline to not let that fear be so all-consuming that you just can't do anything. And when it is at that place, being self-aware enough to start developing tools or finding ways to combat that so that you can move through it more quickly, that just leads you to being in a better position sooner. And I think one really important thing you need to know is that you don't manifest from your mind, you manifest from your heart. Your heart is a magnet, and that is what's going to pull towards you what you need. And be aware of like also the idea of like what you give out is what you get back. And I feel like being generous of heart, like instead of feeling like being generous of heart and just kind to others, I feel like you might find that you just get a lot of kindness back from the universe. I'm not saying that you're not, but just if you feel called to go out of your way and do something kind, or if you just feel called to do something from your heart, like do it. You might find that even that is enough to just give you a kick or some emotional comfort or inspiration. You just never know. But now I want to look at, what do I want to look at? I want to know what this time is leading you towards, so that you can have an idea of where you're headed. So what is this? Okay. That fell. We have the Knight of Swords. I choose my battles carefully. So life's going to be moving a lot faster. Oh, look what's on the back of the deck, my sweet angel babies. The Ace of Pentacles. I am always rewarded for all that I do. So I feel like you are in the process of heading towards a lot more security and prosperity financially. Like, this Knight of Swords is what's leading you to that. I definitely think that one thing that this time period is about for you is learning to cut through mental noise and recognizing how your brain operates, how you cope with stress, how trauma might be impacting your ability to function, how it's impacting your ability to think or be hopeful or create or imagine. But also, I think that this is leading you towards rapid action, creation, and clarity that may surprise you. Like the Knight of Swords, I think, is an energy that you're going to be embodying in the near future as you kind of surrender to your circumstances. And then that is leading you towards greater wisdom and awareness that, well, number one, help you from getting, it'll be something where you're less likely to get stuck in a position like this again. I also feel like there's going to be a lot of healing in terms of your voice, how you share it, how you receive like the voices, thoughts, and opinions of others. And I also feel like you're just going to be generally giving less of a fuck about what people think and being less tolerant of negative programming in your brain that is telling you that you're wrong or that you're bad. I definitely feel like you are headed towards a time of greater clarity and the ability to cut through bullshit that has kept you stuck in the first place. And also, like, I feel like there's a lot of healing for your voice, healing for your heart as well. I feel like your heart and your voice are connected, and I feel like there's a lot that your heart's been trying to tell you that you haven't been able to hear because you've been stuck in your mind. And so your mind is definitely going to be the one thing that really benefits from this cycle. Because remember, you rule your mind does not rule you. It is meant to serve you and help you. And the mind is a malleable tool. Our brains are plastic until the very last days of our life. And plastic means that they can change. They are malleable. They can heal. And I think one thing that you need to tell yourself and remind yourself is that not only can you heal, but also you don't need to be fully healed to make progress, make a difference, and move in the directions of your dreams. You don't have to earn these things. You just have to have enough determination to walk towards the direction of them, or crawl, or even just move a finger until you have the energy to do more. And that's enough, and that's okay. And I also think it'll help you realize, like, you're moving towards a time of greater wisdom around what is worthy of your attention and what isn't. And I think you're also going to be able to say no a lot more easily. So I want to see, this card actually has has affirmations and guidance on the back of it. I do believe that this character is from a show. I don't know what it is. I do think it's related to werewolves though, but there is an affirmation on the back of here, and I kind of set the intention for this card to represent what this time is trying to teach you about yourself, what you're meant to see about yourself, and what greater lesson. The sooner you embody it, the sooner you can move through this time. I'm running with the wolves. That's your vibe. The guide says, you have been visited by Pixie Meb. Have you been listening to your heart, or have you forgotten your true self? Do not let fear of not fitting in change you from being the beautiful beast that you are. If you chicken out, Meb might give you a wee nip for you to come to your senses. So I definitely think actually part of these financial constraints might be an opportunity for you to look at where fear and uncertainty and constraint makes you feel like you have to be smaller, or makes you feel like you have to play things safer or do things in a way that is crushing to your heart or your spirit. And maybe you do have to do that in the interim, or maybe you do have to experience that. Maybe that's something that you're in right now, but that doesn't mean you have to stay there. Like, there, in the times where shit sucks and you just don't want to be here and you just don't want to do life and you just feel like things will never get better, there is value in those experiences, even though they may suck, even though they may be traumatizing, even though they may fundamentally alter you a bit as a person. How you feel about that is totally valid and totally understandable and totally okay. But just know that those experiences might be holding value that you don't hold on to, or that you don't recognize until years down the line, or until you've moved through it. And while it may not be preferable, it just one aspect of the human experience is that none of us, like, we all go through it. We all have our cycles, and it's not personal. It's just a reality of where you're at this time. And many, many, many other people are here at this time. And honestly, other pile ones, sound off in the comments, be supportive of one another. One thing I love that you guys do is you guys are just so supportive of one another. I know you can do it pile one, so if there's other pile ones that want to say, hey, we can do this, or maybe even connect to one another in the comments so that you can have a support system, or just, you know, have a maybe even meet a friend or a buddy that, you know, you can that relates to your situation, knows what you're going through, and is helpful for you. Feel free to do that. But the affirmation is, I listen to my heart's true calling. And so I feel like what this time is truly about is helping you listen to your heart again, and not letting fear shut your heart down, because your heart is a very important mechanism. Like, and that doesn't mean you're not meant to listen to your mind at all, but your mind is meant to serve your heart in ways that support you. And I also think that this time is about showing you that under times of stress, under times of uncertainty, under times of constriction, it's easy and understandable to shut down, to be fearful, to be closed off, to be angry, to be frustrated, to just not be or feel like yourself. And number one, the homecoming back to your true self is going to be all the more sweeter. But number two, it gives you compassion and acceptance for those that are in that position, or in worse positions, or maybe even in better positions, that are still in the same energy, that can't be open, that can't be heartfelt. You know, it may still be frustrating and annoying, but at the very least, it may be something where you're able to say, look, I've been there, or I'm not going to take this person's behavior personally, because I know what it's like to be stuck in fear. I know what it's like to be uncertain. I know what it's like to be insecure, and it's not personal. It's not about me. And that could help save you from any mental or emotional anguish that's just unnecessary to take on. So I listen to my heart's true calling. That is where you're headed towards. And your heart's true calling, I do think, is going to be, is something you're already aware of, is something that you're expanding upon, or something that is related to voice, creativity in some way. And maybe your heart's true calling isn't the same thing as what you do to support yourself financially, but maybe your heart's true calling is what makes it easy to deal with the other aspects of life that you may not love, or maybe it is what will lead you to a circumstance where you no longer have to be in a position where you have to do something you don't love that takes you away from what you love. Never forget that you're a creator being. I'm genuinely of the belief that we can have what we want here, but sometimes that requires doing things that scare us, having faith when we have no reason to trust in it, and also being willing to follow the twists and turns of life and trust that we can make it, we can do it. It might be different, it might be scary, it might be hard, but it's better than staying comfortable and stuck in a place that you know makes you miserable. So I guess that's something to be aware of. But I'm also going to pull a guidance card from this Wisdom of the Oracle, because they do have, this deck specifically has prosperity messages. So I want to get some guidance from you just on prosperity consciousness, and like just what could help you move through this time more easily, improve your financial situation specifically. So Spirit, oh, okay. Well, that's movement. Yang is movement. I'm actually going to pull another one because that came out so quickly. So Spirit, what prosperity guidance do you have for pile one, please, that could be helpful for them? Co-create. Yep. Love to see it. I was literally saying earlier it was a co-creation, so that's validating. This is just literally reiterating what I was already saying. But let's start with Yang. Yang. I don't know. I'm really talented at pronouncing things incorrectly. Feel free to correct me if you would like to. I know you probably will anyway. And that's valid. That's okay. So, prosperity message. Projects, partnerships, and all matters relating to your businesses are out of the obstacle phase and on to the make it happen phase. Now is the time to stake your claim and get things done. While you can expect to be busier than usual, this card tells you that you have all the energy and vitality you need to accomplish your goals. Abundance is waiting for you to claim it. So this is confirming this Three of Wands in reverse. And it is saying you actually have more energy than you realize. It's just being expended in ways that are counterproductive to your goals. And that is creating more stress and emotional energy. I would look into tools and tricks for grounding and getting out of your head, because I think all of your energy is getting condensed into your head, and you may not even be realizing that like there's actually reserves of energy that you're unaware of, but also you're going to gain energy as you move forward, and I love that for you. But we also have co-create. Flashes of inspiration give rise to great success when you receive this message. You are at your most creative now, and whatever you apply to yourself will lead to the fruition of your dreams. Remember that all your ideas are channeled from a higher source. You create your reality in partnership with spirit. The potential for manifestation is unlimited now. Revel in its vastness. Like, okay, this is literally confirming everything that I was saying. And I need you to stop asking how. I just need you to trust me and say okay. And just say, okay, what am I trying to create? What am I trying to do? And just be open to making it happen and seeing what inspiration comes to you to make it happen. Everything is going to be okay, like I said, but now is the time to get moving, even in the smallest of ways. Because that is something, like, as you gain momentum, you're also going to realize, like, that will give you more energy. That will give you more inspiration. And manifesting multiple opportunities, like, don't be afraid to do things differently. And actually, I think one thing that could be helpful for you is don't hold yourself to a strict schedule or a strict routine. If you need a strict routine in order to feel okay and feel solid, look at what you can do to just vary it a little bit, or do something a little bit different, or see if there's anything that you could tweak to make your routine better or more. Or look at what within your routine doesn't fit the dreams that you're trying to manifest or the direction that you're trying to head in, where you want to be, and ask yourself, like, okay, what can I do differently? What would fit here more? But we're going to go ahead and finish off with the why part of this reading, the why this is happening, what's going on. And we're also going to be looking at a being, whether you believe in it or not, a being who is open to helping you, who you can pray to or ask for help or support. Saraswati is one of them. I personally, in my cosmology, like, I believe that, all of these beings come from unconditionally loving source energy. And as long as you're coming from a place of respect and an open heart, I feel like that is a profound and deep offering, and enough to get to open up the lines of co-creation, to open up the lines of connection between you and these energies and beings. So, Spirit, what is the deeper purpose of this time for pile number 1? Who is here to support pile number 1 that they can go to for support? What is truly going on underneath the surface of these experiences? What is this all about? We have Angel, Amethyl, and Blue Obsidian, Revelation. So I would say obsidians in general could be quite helpful. Archangel Michael is on the back of the deck, and so lapis lazuli could be helpful as well. Definitely blue stones, I think, could be really great for you. This is the Crystal Mandala Oracle. So, Revelation. We bring you the gift of revelation. There are times when not knowing is helpful. During such times, yes, you develop unconditional trust in the universe. That trust will then support you in living your life according to your personal truths. You need a lot of trust in yourself and life to live with such courage. Not knowing the bigger picture can help you stay focused on what you need to do right now. Rather than getting so excited about the future, you become distracted from the work that needs to be accomplished in the present moment, unwittingly slowing down your progress, and delaying the very future you want to draw closer to you. However, there are other times when it is more helpful to know, to understand, to see. A particular truth will help you gain perspective, let go of the past, and heal a wound, and feel safer, feel more loved, more empowered, and ready for the next step of your life journey. This is one of those times. We bring you the helpful gift of revelation now because you're ready to know a deeper truth. So it could be something in this reading that I said to you, that could be that deeper truth, or you are being primed to be open for a deeper truth once you leave this video. And there's a healing process that I will show you, but I'm going to go ahead and read the rest of this first. There is an expression that says, when it no longer serves you not to know, you shall know. For the spiritual aspirant who believes their path would be much easier if they only knew what was going on in their lives. Perfect. and why things were happening the way that they were. This might seem questionable, yet there are benefits and empowerments that happen for us when we are in a not knowing phase of our life journey, laboring through darkness and confusion and not really sure what we are doing or supposed to be learning. During such times, there is a possibility to develop spiritual strength by learning to trust unconditionally in life. This unconditional trust helps us have the courage to act on insights and revelations when they come. As much as we might feel we are always ready to know what is going on, that isn't actually the case. There are times when seeing the divine purpose behind what is happening and realizing exactly what we are letting go of and what we are going into would intimidate or frighten us. It might also seem so grand and overwhelming that we shut down and resist the process because our minds don't understand that what seems difficult or possible now can seem utterly natural and comfortable several years or even several months from now. That is what I'm telling you. That is where you are now and where you are headed. Like I told you, you're gonna be okay. Like you are such a bad bitch, and gender neutral, okay? I don't care who the fuck you are. You are a bad bitch. Affirm it, claim it, name it. I love to see this for you, and I know you're gonna be okay. I believe in you so much. I need you to believe in yourself. Or maybe a revelation of a glorious future would be so exciting that we could not stay present enough to do what needs to be done to actually allow it to happen. And that may be why you're not getting the inspiration right now. There is a saying in the Sufi mystic tradition that the divine grants destiny with compassion. What this means is that the universe really loves you and wants to nurture you into your path, with the right information coming to you at the right time. Would you ask a kindergarten student to attend a postgraduate degree in mathematics? Would you ask a child to handle the responsibilities that feel natural and empowering for an adult to assume? What would happen to the kindergarten student or the child who is suddenly required of so much more than what he is naturally equipped to deal with at this stage of his life? How might they respond? And in time, with growth and development, those things could happen quite naturally and even more easily when there is no fear created by the mind wondering. That is a key theme for you here. That is what you're moving out of. And what you're in right now, what's going on right now, is that you're being given the opportunity to really see what it feels like when you are in that state. Because especially if you've been stuck in it, the opportunity to zoom out and observe it rather than listening to it, just observing it and watching it and seeing, okay, what is this doing to me physiologically? Is it increasing my heart rate? Is it creating cortisol-related hair loss? Is it making me shaky? Is it making me lose my appetite or overeat? Is it giving me, pay attention to everything, to just be present, because that is what's going to help you become aware and also catch when you get stuck in that again. Because the hardest part about being stuck in your mind and stuck in those cycles is having the self-awareness to recognize when you're in it and be able to observe it and witness it without being sucked in by it. That is a skill, and you develop it over time, but you will get sucked back into it. That's just inevitable, and that's part of having a big brain and a brilliant mind, unfortunately. So I'm sorry that you are an intelligent and wonderful person with a beautiful mind, but unfortunately you have to deal with that burden. What if I fail? I don't think I can do that. It might cause resistance, self-doubt, and hesitation, all because the truth of what was coming was accessed prematurely. We are at a phase in evolution on planet Earth where a lot can change in a short number of years. In fact, a lot can change in a number of months. What might throw you into fear if you knew it now could be the very same information you accept with equanimity and trust, and perhaps even feel empowered and inspired by several months or years from now. The universe knows what you need and when you will best benefit from seeing what is happening from a higher perspective, including getting glimpses of how your future is unfolding. In the same way, when an insight about your future or an understanding about what is happening does come to you, you are ready. You might be comfortable with it or feel very challenged and not feel ready. However, there is a world of difference between feeling ready and being ready. The universe knows of what you are capable, and when an insight comes to you, you can do something constructive with it. A revelation is coming to you now because you are ready for it. Believe in what you see, feel, and know within your heart now and over the coming time. You're going to see a mystery revealed before your very eyes, and you may be startled, humbled, moved, and inspired by what you come to know. There is only love in every revelation. You are just going to understand more of love's delicious divine plan for your soul this lifetime. Trust in what you perceive, no matter how radical it may seem. The divine is about to show you a glimpse into the heart of your life story and a positive prediction for your future. Okay, well, thank you, Angel Amityville. because this is basically exactly what I was saying, just more eloquently put, and I told you that you were going to be just fine. So this is the healing process that you can go into, that you can work on. And then also the Saraswati mantras, I feel like will be helpful for you as well. And I'm looking at the clock right now, and it's 55:55. So 555, I think, is a powerful number. Of 555 and 888, 8s and 5s are powerful numbers for you right now, and signs you're on the right path. So if you want to screenshot that, hold on to that, do that process, maybe even multiple times, feel free to. Or if you want to do your own thing, go for that. You're a creative being and you can do whatever you set your mind to. But pile 1, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That's one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel, so thank you to everyone who does that. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already, click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. Shout out to my notification squad. If you'd like to see my videos when I first upload, or ensure that I see your comments, if you comment when I first upload, I will likely see it. After that, it's up to fate. But thank you to everyone who does comment, because maybe I don't see it, but maybe someone else needs to. Never doubt the power of your voice, and how special it is. If other ways to support, you can check out my social media. Not a whole lot going on there, but I do want to change that. You can check out my candles, or any candles on Angelic Magic 888 site using code ASO10. You can check out other videos, especially ones with extendeds. Maybe wait until you're in a better position financially, but I do try to make them as affordable as possible. So if you feel drawn to one, maybe that'll be helpful. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait for you guys to slay and be excellent. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Galadriel card and the Larimar butterfly, this is going to be your reading on what the figgity fuck is going on in your life, what do you need to know about it, so on and so forth. So the goal of this reading is to get clarity, and I don't even know what's going to go on in this reading. I'm going to kind of ask questions based on the energy check, which is what we are starting with. And so these 3 cards are meant to represent what is going on for you right now, at least in one area of your life. So if this resonates, congrats, you have found your reading. If it does not, this reading is not for you, and I suggest trying another group or another reading, or just doing something that makes you feel good. Okay, so what is going on for you right now? So we have Brahma, we have Treehouse, find peace in being alone, solitude, introspection, independence, and caring connections. Ooh, okay. I definitely see a couple different circumstances here, but I love seeing Brahma here. I believe he is the god of creation in Hinduism. Any Hindu homies out there, or those that have information on Brahma that they would like to share, feel free to. I always just appreciate so much when you guys share about your perspectives and your experiences and your knowledge and your wisdom. Thank you for sharing it with us. But Brahma, as far as I understand, is the creator of all things. And what this is telling me is that you're in a time where what you create and what you want to create, not only do you have the ability to do, but also you're just in a potent time of creation. It's important to remember that with creation, that does come in cycles. And realistically, pretty much everything has cycles to them, of life, death, rebirth, all that jazz. And truthfully, when I'm looking at this energy, a lot of people might choose this group because I'm seeing a couple of different scenarios. So bear with me as I go through all of them. If you don't hear yours at first, just be patient because it might be next. I feel like this Brahma card here is here though to let you know that whatever you are trying to move towards, whatever you are hoping for, whatever you're wanting to create, you can do it. And in fact, I feel like that inspiration, like there's a lot on your side to help you make that happen. But I feel like this group, relationships are really important. And I'm not just talking about this could be related to romantic relationships, but it doesn't have to be. For some of you, you are in a place where you are really trying to manifest or create intimate connections. This could be intimate friendships, an intimate romantic relationship, maybe multiple intimate romantic relationships. The one thing I will say with this Caring Connections card is that it does focus on one-on-one connection rather than groups of people. If you could be in a position right now where you are greatly seeking close, intimate connection with someone else and feeling very lonely and feeling stuck in that loneliness. On the other hand, maybe you now have a profound, caring connection with someone. Maybe that is someone that you're in a relationship with, someone that is a close friend, a family member, something like that. And this is something you've been really wanting or something you've wanted to happen. And it's like what you've created. Maybe you manifested it. Maybe you literally created it and it's happened. And now you're like, oh crap, I actually need some time alone. There's nothing wrong with that. You can find balance with that. But you may be finding yourself in a position where it's like, oh, I thought that this was everything that I needed. And you may be realizing that even through this connection is showing you that there's still some sort of connection with yourself that you're either lacking or that you haven't been tapping into, that is leaving you feeling a bit unfulfilled. Not with the connection that you're already in, but unfulfilled in terms of your connection with yourself. And you may not consciously realize it as an unfulfilling connection with self. You may just feel like something's missing, something's off, or something's wrong. Another scenario that I'm seeing is you are trying to find balance between being there for those you care about and finding time and space for yourself. Overall, there's kind of this emphasis on you're in a position where you're trying to balance connection with solitude, connection with self, with connection with others. And I think that you are really prioritizing the quality of connection. And if not, I think you're being brought to the awareness that you do need to focus more on the quality of connection. I feel like for some of you, you could very well be in positions where you've been made aware of connections in your life where maybe you brought more care than they did, where they didn't show you the level of care that you deserved. And it's quite possible if you're trying to create caring connections or bring those in because they are close by, if they're not already here yet, solitude and introspection and focusing on independence and healthy boundaries with self is actually what's going to bring that in. But I definitely think that there's a couple of different situations here, and what yours is absolutely valid and okay. If you still feel like this resonates and I didn't list your specific situation, I would say keep watching. There's likely still messages for you. But I think that really what's going on for you right now, at least in a relationship sense, is opportunities to create more of what you want and opportunities to see where you're still unfulfilled and where you could have more of the type of connection that is uplifting and fulfilling. I'm hearing specifically for some of you, you may be realizing you're not actually as much of an introvert as you thought. Maybe you're just realizing that you were just always drained by interaction because you were around people that didn't have intentions to reciprocate. For others, you may be in a caring connection with someone or it's blossoming, and you might be feeling, and maybe you've really desired this and now you're like, wait, I don't know if I'm ready for this. What if I mess it up? Or, what if I end up alone? Or like, especially, and for some of you, I'm like, well, with peace and love, you've been alone and you can handle it and you know how to do it. But also you may be, and so that's okay, even if that happened, but I don't think it is. I think what's really happening is that you're being faced with the discomfort of certain wounding or certain fears that you still have that stem from connection that you haven't had the opportunity to come to your awareness, or haven't had the opportunity to be aware that they're still there because you were on your own, because there was no one there to really trigger those fears or make you, worried about them. So like, you might be entering this connection or experiencing it and feeling like, wait, I've wanted this so badly, but what if I'm not ready? What if I mess it up? What if I sabotage it? You won't. You're fine. You're doing great. But it can definitely might feel weird, and it might feel different than you thought, and there might be this experience you're having where rather than it just feeling good and satisfying, though I would hope if it's a true genuine connection, I'm sure that's there no matter what. But you may also be realizing that there's this other side of the coin where it's also bringing about feelings of insecurity, feelings of uncertainty, realizations of needs that you didn't know were there because they weren't needs that you had while you were alone. Maybe realizing that, maybe if you've been too entrenched in a connection, maybe you're needing to create more independence for yourself and just a sense of self so you don't get lost. No matter what, we're meant to discuss interpersonal relationships and relationships with self in this reading and how you can create more of that. I definitely feel like you are in a position now where whatever you want to create, you can make that happen, whether that is like more free-flowing communication, a different dynamic between you and someone you're already in a connection with, creating more closeness with someone that you care about, creating opportunities to care for yourself and fulfill your needs in ways that maybe you didn't realize. There's definitely self-actualization happening, and also just a lot of opportunity for you to let go of what you think is possible and how you think things can happen, or what you're worthy of, and realize I can have more, or I can do things differently, or things don't have to happen this way. I think especially if you've had like toxic relationships modeled to you in certain ways, or experienced toxic relationships and friendships in the past, I mean, who hasn't? It might be really weird for you to experience a healthy dynamic, and it might be something where you kind of have to give yourself grace and give yourself the opportunity to be a little bit more imaginative and open-minded about what could be, and about what you're truly worthy of receiving. Because I think it's a lot grander and a lot more loving than you realize. I feel like there's so much more love than you realize that's around you. But I'm going to read Brahma really quick because I feel like that will be helpful for y'all. I feel like I'm missing a message. It is time to create. Brahma, the creator of the universe and all beings, has come to you with the message that now is the time to bring that idea to fruition. What's the idea you've been sitting on but haven't taken action? Now is the time to plant that seed into the earth and water it with your intention so it sprouts to life, benefiting all those around you. Brahma's rosary symbolizes the time cycle through which the world moves from creation to sustenance, from sustenance to dissolution, and from dissolution to new creation. Which cycle are you on? And then Brahma has a mantra that you could chant that might be helpful, maybe tapping into creative energy. I just think chanting is a really powerful way to clear your energy and get your consciousness in alignment with, what you want to embody, what you want to create. Sound and speech are very powerful forms of creation, healing, and connection. So pay attention to that. But I definitely think one thing that is going on for you right now is the opportunity to create more of what you desire, and the opportunity to see where what you've already created and what you've already received, where you're still unfulfilled, or where you're realizing, oh, that needs addressed, or this needs tweaked, or needs to be different. Like, for example, if you're in a connection with someone, maybe you're realizing, oh, we need to change how often we're seeing each other. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. I feel like there's definitely this theme of trying to find balance between independence and connection, and recognizing what is on you, and with that independent connection, where are you still afraid of being open, and what do you desire to have more of in your caring connections, and how can you instigate that, whether it's having more heart-to-heart conversations, or spending more quality time together, or just speaking up about like what you need, if that's personal time or something like that. I think all of that can be very helpful. But I'm going to go ahead and get into your tarot now, because I'm just going to be yapping otherwise. So while I'm shuffling, I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who takes the time to leave me a like, or subscribe, or let the ads play in the background, or leave me a little comment. All of those are helpful and free ways to show support for my channel and just show appreciation. So thank you to everyone who does that. I just really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to do that and for supporting me. You're the best. So I'm trying to think about what I want to ask here. And I think the first question we need to ask is, what do you need to know most about where you're currently at this time? This time and these circumstances you're in. So pile 2, Spirit, what do they need to know most about this time that they're currently in? What do they need to know most about this situation that they are in? We have the Fool. I am guided and protected on my life journey. Well, I love to see that. So I definitely think that did I literally just forget the question I was asking? Ugh, I just had a brain fart. I literally forgot the question that I was asking. I know it's related to what you need to know. I'm just gonna get going. The biggest thing that you need to know about this time is that there are no rules. There are unlimited possibilities for what can be created. And I do feel like you are in a time of something new in your life, or on the precipice of creating new things or having new experiences with things already or people already in your life. I feel like the biggest thing that you need to know is that you can't mess this up. And it's okay to not know what the best course of action is or how to go about things. I think open communication is the biggest key to navigating this time smoothly. And let me be clear, that communication doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be genuine and authentic and from your heart. But also know that you are guided and protected on your journey. And I feel like you are on the cusp of a new beginning, one or just starting it. And it's one where you've really wanted it for a long time. And now that it's here, or now that it's coming, you're like, wait, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I deserve it. What if I messed it up? And it's like, no, that it's too late to have those worries. You're already meant to have this. Like, it's time to dive in. I feel like the biggest thing you need to know is that it's okay to know nothing. And actually, it's better if you know nothing. Just focus on the experiences you want to cultivate, the types of connections you want to have, and what you can do to create a more supportive relationship with yourself, relationships with others, and just create more of what you want in life. Like, the world is literally your oyster, and you have so many opportunities to just have more of what you want, receive more of what you want, and say no to what you don't. I also feel like you just have a really powerful opportunity to receive what you've wanted for so long and realize that, like, even when we receive what we want, it doesn't solve all of our problems, and it doesn't make life, it doesn't just fix everything and feel fully satisfying or fulfilling. Like, there's always something, right, with human existence. I like the quote, like, I hope all your dreams come true so that you realize they're not the answer. Like, because I feel like that's something you may be experiencing now, where if you feel like a relationship, for example, is what's going to fix all your problems, once you have that, you may realize, I still have all these problems, and now I'm just in a relationship. and that might help and feel really good, but I still have to address these things. I feel like the biggest thing you need to know is that wherever your heart is leading you, wherever you are feeling guided, whatever action you're being guided to take, however you are needing to navigate things, honor it. You're headed in the right direction. And even if that direction leads you to a place where something happens that you don't want, or you can't anticipate what's going to happen, it will be okay. You're exactly where you need to be. And I really just feel like, in general, whatever you're yearning for, you're bringing towards you. And it's okay to not know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. Actually, the biggest thing you need to know is that you don't need to know anything to keep moving forward and make things happen. Don't be afraid to just be more open with people. Don't be afraid to be like, to just share or spend time connecting with others. Or if there's someone that you want to connect with more deeply, like, don't be afraid to make the first move and be like, hey, do you want to hang out? Or hey, let's go get coffee. Or, you know, if you are in a serious relationship with someone or spending a lot of time with someone you care about and you need some time to yourself, being like, hey, I love you, but I'm going to disappear for a couple days or a day or something like that. I just really need some time for myself, but let me know if you need anything, or if there's anything I can do to bring reassurance. Like, just whatever you are anticipating is going to be a pitfall or is dangerous or could ruin everything. I feel like you need to look at that and say, how can I create a perspective on this that helps me face it with more trust? And how can I take action in ways that align with authenticity but are also not unnecessarily destructive? Or how can you be clear, communicative, and supportive for both yourself and others? I think that is a big thing. But you are on the cusp of a new cycle or just starting it. And it's okay not to know what's going to happen. It's okay not to know what's going on. It's okay to not even know what you're creating. I do feel like your relationships are a powerful, including the relationship with yourself. Those are the most powerful sources of inspiration, of clarity, of learning for your human self. So embrace that. And if you are trying to bring those in, connection with self is definitely going to be the most helpful for you. So speaking of that, let's ask how you can improve connection with yourself. Okay, perfect. The Seven of Wands. I actively hold true to my values. So this is especially important if you are someone who has a tendency to get lost in what others believe, or if you tend to betray yourself for the desires of others. So like, let's say, for example, you have a really close friend that you love and care about, and maybe they need more connection than you do. Maybe they need more than you do. And maybe they don't recognize that, maybe they don't even realize that you need more alone time than they do. So one of the things that you can do the best thing that you can do to have a deeper connection with yourself is set proper boundaries. And that might mean, doing the thing you're afraid of and saying to someone, hey, I love you very much, but you're not going to hear from me from like the next 2 days because I just need some time to myself. I just need to decompress. It has nothing to do with you. If somebody takes that the wrong way, that's all the more reason why you need those boundaries. And also, like, people that truly care about you, they will be more than happy to honor them. And you can always open up the floor to be like, is there anything that I can do to kind of help you, or just like bring reassurance? Because it's normal and natural for other people to be like, oh, like, do you just not want to hang out with me or something like that? And you can be like, no, I do. I love hanging out with you. I just need some me time. But also, I think with the Seven of Wands, when you are having me time, to be really focused on what's truly important for you and what you care about, and making sure that's not compromised in intimate connections with others. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, I'm talking about friendships. If you are someone who does not gossip, which, love that, gossip is lame, and you have a close friend that likes to gossip, maybe setting boundaries with them and saying, hey, listen, I don't want to gossip about people. Let's talk about something else. Maybe that's something that could be helpful. Whatever is truly important to you, those that care about you, they will honor that. And I think that there's an element within you where you've had a hard time honoring for yourself what is important to you, out of fear that if you uphold those values, or if your values diverge from someone you care about, that they will discard you, or that they will abandon you, or that they will reject you. And truth be told, if they do one of those things because of those values, then that is a sign that that is not the type of connection that you need. But I feel like you might be surprised that others might be inspired by what your values are, and others might even be more attracted to you or desire to connect to you more deeply because you hold true to what you value. I just do think there are parts of you that feel drained or almost feel betrayed by yourself, because I could totally see you, like, when you need a day to yourself, saying yes to doing something with someone else because you don't want to disappoint them, right? Or let's say you find someone that you're interested in romantically and you guys are compatible, but there's a very important value that you guys differ on. And before you met this person, it would have been a non-negotiable, and now you're considering abandoning it. That is something you want to reflect on in solitude and say, okay, is this really something that I want to abandon or shift or alter? Or am I just trying to let go of it because I want this to happen so badly? There's a need for you to look at where you may be trying to force things unnecessarily, and where you may be compromising your own integrity, your values, and what's important to you, because you want to receive the same love and affection that you give to others. And I feel like there's a need for you to recognize that you can have genuinely caring connections just as you are. You don't have to change who you are. And if someone expects you to change these core parts of who you are in order to be in connection with them, that's not a truly caring connection. And that is a sign of someone that if they are not willing to meet you with where you're at and accept you and be willing to work with you, then that's probably a sign that maybe they're not meant to be as close to you as they are. It doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life, but it may mean, maybe this is just a friendship. Maybe this doesn't progress to something more. Or, maybe I need to spend some time to myself to make sure I'm not compromising things. Like, the biggest and best thing that you can do for yourself is just start to recognize what is self energy and what isn't, so that you don't take on non-self energy and believe it's you and get disconnected from yourself. But also, just making sure that when you are in connection with someone else, whatever type that may be, that you're not compromising your values and that you're not foregoing them for the sake of connection, because that is likely reflecting a feeling of insecurity or a feeling of like you won't be accepted as you are, and that communicates to yourself that you're not good enough as you are, or that there aren't connections that would support those values. And there are. We live in a world of abundance. I promise you that you don't have to change things that are fundamental to who you are in order to have connection. And also, you might also need to ask yourself as well, do I hide who I am the minute I realize that someone I care about or someone I'm interested in might have a different value? It's okay to have diverging viewpoints and values in connection, so long as they don't, create constant discord or toxicity between the two of you, or cause one or both of you to just deny who you are. Like, I feel like there's this need for you to look at how you can have it all, and how having it all, part of that is recognizing where you may have not had it all in the past, or where you may be settling for less because you're not upholding or not recognizing what boundaries, what values, and what is important for you in connection and in the world. Okay, now I want to see how you can manifest or create deeper connections with others or a specific person on your mind. So how can Pile 2 create deeper connection with others or the people they care about? We have the Two of Wands. I focus on what I want and I make it happen. So I definitely think that this is all about you just actually trusting that you can have what you want and that you can make it happen, and following that inspiration. Like, we already had this energy of creatorship. Part of focusing on what you want is paying attention to what doesn't align with what you don't want. So for example, if you're trying to manifest a best friend and the friendships that you have right now, you become a version of yourself you're not proud of. Or so let's say there's someone in your life, a friend you want to be closer to, but you don't reach out to them because you don't want to bother or annoy them. Maybe they're doing literally the exact same thing. You need to have a little bit of Seven Rings, Ariane energy. You see it, you like it, you want it, you got it. Trust that when you plant seeds and create opportunities to make connection happen, or create something in a connection that exists already, you can make it happen. And sometimes that's as simple as just saying, hey, let's go do this thing, or hey, I would like to have a conversation about XYZ, or hey, let's have a heart-to-heart. Like, you don't have to wait for them to read your mind. You can just ask for it, because they probably won't read your mind or know that you even want that. So don't be afraid to make plans. Don't be afraid to just connect and communicate in ways where you share openly about what you want, and share openly about where you see things going, or where you want things to go, or how, or what you want for your future, and seeing how that aligns. Because whether it does or it doesn't, it's just bringing you closer to that. Don't be afraid to explore, and also just don't be afraid to do things more straightforwardly than you would in the past. I feel like this group especially has a tendency to overthink and not even realize that the solution could be as simple as just talking about it, and just being willing to face the fear of being open about what you truly want, or what you want to create more of, instead of waiting for someone else to do it. Like, for example, if you're the type of person to always wait for an invitation, be the one that invites. Be the one that makes the first move. If you're the type of friend that loves to take pictures of others, don't be afraid to ask the same of others. Like, be who you want to have in others, and communicate to others what you want and what you need in connection, because those that care about you will want to make it happen. Just be willing, and don't assume. Don't assume that you're doing something wrong, or that you have to hide who you are, hide what's important to you. All you're doing by doing that is creating potential for confusion and keeping you stuck in a cycle of unmet needs, or just missing out on opportunities to connect more deeply and connect more authentically. Connect, like, people that genuinely care about you, they want to meet your needs. They want to be reciprocal. They want to be there for you in ways that make you feel good, because you do that for them too. And maybe they have things they want to communicate, but they don't have the ability to do that. Maybe they don't have the tools. Maybe you opening that floor could be really helpful for them. So if there are any types of relationships that you idolize, like whether in fiction or just out in the world, or maybe not idolize, but just admire and are like, I want that, ask yourself how you can make that happen in your own life. And I feel like the answers are easier than you think they are. Like, the simpler the answer and the more straightforward, I feel like the better. You don't have to overcomplicate things or orchestrate some master plan. It makes me think of this. There's a common trope in, like, sitcoms, for example. Like, the one I'm thinking of specifically is That's So Raven, right? Where, Raven accidentally said yes to 2 different dates to the prom. So then she spends I don't even know if that's a plot, but, like, it probably is. It's a common trope, right? Instead of just telling someone the truth, you try to be in 2 places at once. And literally, you could just avoid disaster by communicating clearly. Oh, I would have really loved to go to the dance with you, but I already said yes to this person. Can we do something afterwards? Or can we do something another weekend? Or even if it makes them mad at you, saying to the other person, hey, I know I said yes to you, but this person that I have a crush on said yes to me, and we're only going as friends. Would it be okay? Like, sure, it might lead to hard feelings, but that trope always pissed me off, because I'm just like, literally, this is a waste of time. Like, you could just say what you think and be honest and avoid problems. Like, if you double book yourself, just say, hey, I double book myself. But then you wouldn't have a sitcom, right? But you're not in a sitcom, you're in real life, so don't overcomplicate bullshit. Just say what you mean what you say, make it happen, and don't overthink it. So now I want to ask, what is something that you are meant to receive from a caring connection? So something that someone is meant to bring to you that you are meant to receive in the near future, or okay. What is something pile 2 is meant to receive from a caring connection already in their life, or that is meant to come into their life? Ooh, we got 2 cards. Wow, we have the Queen of Wands and the King of Pentacles. I am sure of my place in this world and I am naturally creative. So this is actually really beautiful. What you are meant to receive from a connection is actually affirmation of qualities you're already trying to cultivate. First of all, with the Queen of Wands, I feel like you are going to receive a lot of compliments, or just like this person is going to make you feel really good about yourself, going to make you feel attractive. And also you're meant to receive literally what you're trying to attract or what you're trying to create. But also with the King of Pentacles here, you're going to receive security. You're going to receive more trust. You are going to receive people that have the same level or more maturity than you do. I feel like what you are receiving, what the thing is that you're receiving is less important than how what you're receiving makes you feel, because it's about how what you're receiving makes you feel. Like you're receiving energetic upgrades and just personal healing that allows you to realize like, oh, wow, I really can have what I want. I don't have to settle for less. And also I see my value. I know my worth. And I don't have to stay stuck in cycles of, I don't have to stay in connection with people who make me feel insecure, or who are not trustworthy, or who are not dependable, who are not as generous as I am. Like you can literally have what you want and you can receive it and know that you're valuable. You're going to receive actions and communication and people that make you feel worthy, that make you feel good, that make you feel as precious as you truly are. And I feel like you're also going to be receiving more confidence and trust in yourself and feeling more freedom to just be yourself, be silly, be out there, and realize like, wow, I really can create what I want. And also I can create change in dynamics that already exist when both people are willing to make that change. But a lot of empowerment. You're receiving a lot of empowerment, and also just receiving more of what you deserve. And I think actually, to summarize it, what you're receiving are the feelings for yourself that you thought you needed someone else to validate, which is kind of like they are kind of validating that for you. But I feel like what you're going to be realizing is that within this connection, whether you're already in it or whether it's coming to you, I think you're going to realize that they don't just naturally give you these energies of security and self and empowerment and creativity and confidence, but rather navigating the challenges, or just navigating the dynamic between the two of you, navigating the flow of the connection, and also just being open to them, helps you realize that you already have these things within yourself, and the way they treat you just validates and affirms that. And so you're able to cultivate more of it. Like you may feel like in order to get these things, you have to get them from someone else first, when in reality, what you're realizing is that these qualities were always within you. It's just that the other person is showing you and giving you an opportunity to see, oh yeah, this is what they're kind of reflecting. Like, what's the right way to word this? They are reflecting the fact that you deserve to receive these things, and that in fact, if you couldn't embody those energies, you probably couldn't receive it in the same way. But also, like, I think you're just receiving the realization of the fact that you already have what you need within you, and the caring connections that you have will inspire those things within you. and just validate for you that you do deserve them, and that you can and will receive them. And also, and I feel like that will just be something that just fuels your fire in a way where you can just have even more of that, feel more secure, feel more confident, create more, sustain more, and just live life with less fear and more trust, less uncertainty and more love. And I feel like ultimately you're going to just be receiving gifts within yourself that you haven't unlocked yet, and receiving awareness of where it is up to you to embody things on your own. And also see how accepting behavior that isn't self-honoring, that isn't healthy, or that isn't reciprocal makes it harder for you to embody these things that are within you. And realize like, oh yeah, no wonder I wasn't feeling confident, because I was prioritizing my time and energy with someone who didn't care about me and just liked to treat me, just like to use me. Or, oh yeah, no wonder I felt uncertain of my place in the world, because the people I was spending time with didn't have the same consideration for me as I did them. And now that I'm with someone who considers me and, doesn't leave me out or doesn't talk over me or ignore me, now I realize I was always deserving of this, and now I can trust it because there's someone that reflects that back to me, which I think is really cool. So now I want to see what this period of time is trying to teach you about yourself. So vibe, may it be an evening star shines down upon you. As High Fairy Galadriel visits you, her presence exudes wisdom, grace, and unparalleled beauty. She brings tranquility to your surroundings, inspiring inner strength and courage when you feel surrounded by darkness. The affirmation is, I embrace wisdom, grace, and beauty within myself. I am not alone in the dark. There is light. So I definitely think that, like, if you feel like you're in the dark right now, just know there's answers coming to you soon. If you felt drawn to pile 1 as well, you might want to check it out. There might be connection there, but this is just fully affirming to me what I was just saying. Like, I embrace wisdom, grace, and beauty within myself. You have these things, and by embracing them, you become a light that draws in more of what you want. And the inner strength and courage to just create more of what you want. And also to realize, like, what you are afraid of happening, what you are afraid of, whatever you are afraid of is a lot less scary than you realize. Like, and actually, I think what you're going to find the more that you face your fears is that they are unfounded. And the more you are just open and are willing to share and just, genuine and authentic with those that care about you, or as these caring connections come in, the more you will realize that, healthy dynamics are quite malleable and can shift. And like, when someone is as invested as you are, it's a lot easier to create change and realize, like, oh, I was always worthy of this. It was just that I was with someone who wanted to have me and not change, and that's not cool. So I want to go ahead now and just get a guidance card about just like what you need to know for your highest good at this time, using a unique deck for that. So pile 2, Spirit, what do they need to know at this time for their highest good? What energy are they meant to embody, or what energy could they embody that could be supportive through this process? What energy are they meant to experience? So what do they need to know? Ooh, yes, endless possibilities. And look at how similar it is to the Galadriel card and then also the Brahma card. I feel like Halo by Beyonce, that's your song. That song is significant for you. It's the vibes you should be paying attention to. Okay. Unlimited potential, moving beyond limited beliefs and the filter of an unhealed past, using your awareness to discern what is possible and having the courage to leap even beyond that. Yeah, literally, like this time for you is all about having the courage to face the unknown and realizing that the stories that you are used to from your past do not have to be the stories of the future, even if it is someone from your past. the only way it can't be someone from your past is if they're completely unwilling to change and are committed to staying the way that they were. And in that case, you have to, you know, you have to recognize that you can't change or control that. But you're not meant to repeat old stories. You're meant to create the stories that you want. And don't look at any story in the world around you as a sign that that's what's for you. Take inspiration from it, but write your own, and recognize that, like, for example, let's say you're inspired by Greek mythology. You know, maybe there are themes of certain stories that resonate for you. But that doesn't mean that just because maybe you embody certain qualities of a god and the other person embodies other qualities, that doesn't mean you're meant to play out the same story from that time period. Maybe you're meant to learn, maybe you're meant to pay attention to that story and what the lessons of it were, so that you don't recreate that story. Basically, this time is all about you creating what you truly want, not settling for less, and realizing that you don't have to beg for scraps, because there are people that will serve you a feast gladly and just straight from their heart because they care about you as much as you care about them. Like, things do not have to be this hard. They can be easy. And sometimes that requires us looking at, you know, who's taking up space in our life that doesn't truly care about us, you know, who do we not connect to? And also, with the connections already in our lives, is our connection to self-suffering? Do we need to shift that? Do we need to create more space or create change here to keep the dynamic the way we want it to be, or make it even better? You look at the world through the lens of your life experiences, personality, and conditioning. That filter determines whether you believe in an abundant universe of endless possibilities or various degrees of limitation and a finite range of options. When your expectations, unconscious or otherwise, are based on lack, it's difficult to see what is truly available to you. Today, ask yourself what you believe. Are there limitless potential outcomes to align your energy with? Do you know intuitively that there's more to life than meets the eye, and are you willing to act on that knowledge? As you believe, so it will be for you, as your energy will attract its match in the outer world. Conditions meet expectations. Either your world remains the way it is in various forms, yet essentially unchanging, or you become more. Everything shifts as you open yourself up to a greater version of you and a more meaningful life, discovering opportunities that better reflect your true self. This is the nature of your dynamic relationship with the divine. Today, stand with open arms, knowing that you are stepping into beauty, into experiences that are potent and transformative. Yes, you are. You are walking past the line that you and others drew long ago, leaping over what was and towards what will be. You are more than ever. Now, what is it that you want? The treasure is yours. You just need to believe it, which I love being correct. I love that this card validated for me that I am correct. You will have what you want. And it's not, do not wait to see it in order to believe it. Believe it and you will see it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish this reading off with a guidance card that also just represents the deeper soul process that you're going through right now. And it also has a being that you can connect to, or a being that is protecting you, watching over you, and supporting you through this process. So I'm excited to see what comes through for you guys. But what is the deeper purpose at this time for pile 2 soul? And I think it makes sense that you guys have a butterfly. It's like you guys are going through a powerful transformation and a new beginning. And like, I feel like life is meant to be sweeter than you've ever experienced it before. And it's important that you believe that. Okay. What is the deeper soul experience happening for pile number 2? What is truly going on? What do they need to know about this time? And who can help facilitate this energy, facilitate healing, and be a source of support for them as they move through this process? I love to see it. We have Angel Balthiel and Rose Quartz. So Rose Quartz could be a great stone for you to carry and hold. Let's see, 16. We bring you the gift of heart healing. Over many lifetimes, your beautiful heart has loved and lost and loved again. You've learned how to feel joy, pain, suffering, and bliss. Your wise heart knows that life is filled with darkness and light, and it chooses to love the divine and participate in life anyway. You might worry that your heart has been stretched beyond its limit, become closed or broken. Yet your heart is filled with divine grace, power, and of course, love. It can and will heal itself to love again, bigger, bolder, and braver than ever before. Do not doubt the healing power of your heart. There is power in your heart to heal through struggle and to joy, and your heart has the gift of helping to heal others with love. Your open, kind heart helps soothe others, bringing comfort and reassurance to the world. Trust your heart and let it heal and guide you into the most beautiful and loving divine destiny waiting for you. The heart is an incredible phenomenon. It works on a physical level tirelessly to keep your body alive. It works spiritually to integrate the messages of the universal heart of the divine into your field, helping you receive guidance for your life journey. The heart is your wise guide, friend, and inspiration for growth. Recognizing your heart is capable of being broken and growing back stronger and more loving as it heals is an incredible accomplishment and a reminder of just how amazing you are and how truly powerful love can be. The heart also creates its own electrical field. Without saying a word, your heart speaks volumes. It can change the atmosphere of a room, the thoughts in someone's mind, the feelings in their body, and create a container into which spiritual grace and light can enter to work its own brilliant form of healing magic. There is a wisdom to the heart that cuts through the confusion of the mind. When the heart knows something, it just knows, even if there is every reason logically why the truth should be otherwise. The heart works on an intuitive plane of insight rather than a logical plane of reasoning. It can sense the truth of a situation in an instant, where the mind may be able to argue one side and then the exact opposite equally convincingly, before ending somewhat confused. The mind has great value and is a wonderful asset on the path. But if we allow it to run roughshod over the truths of the heart, we will miss out on so much beauty along our life journey, whilst taking far longer time to get where we need to be. With this oracle, you are being given a layered message. Firstly, your heart is going through a healing. You are learning to open your heart and love yourself and the world in a new way. It will be a beautiful experience of greater closeness and connection to the divine. As your heart opens, there may be a clearing of old issues that have prevented it from opening more fully in the past. These issues may be fear of abandonment, rejection, disappointment, or betrayal. There may be old issues to do with trust and feeling safe and being vulnerable that arise. Don't worry or believe that you are going backwards on your healing path. These are symptoms of heart healing, letting go, and shedding past pain. Even if grief or sadness arises, let it flow and be released. Your heart wants to be free to love, and it knows how to heal itself. Honor and support this process by expressing your feelings and loving yourself as unconditionally as you can. Secondly, your heart is guiding you, leading you, and even pushing you through the deeper desires you feel within. It is not foolish fancy speaking to you. It is the genuine guidance of your heart, encouraging your mind to recognize your true path in life. Listen to the feelings of your heart as you begin to understand the way it speaks to you. Then you can benefit from the divine wisdom it expresses, which is already within you, just waiting to be acknowledged. What the fuck? Okay, I told you. Not only is that within you waiting to be acknowledged, but all these wonderful qualities that you want someone to show you, or that you want to have in others, like you have within you as well. You're so much more awesome than you realize, and you're already awesome, and I know you know that. So like, prepare to have your mind blown by opening your heart, because you're going to realize you're just even more awesome than you could have ever conceived. Finally, never doubt the power of your heart to heal even the most seemingly intractable, impossible situations. You must detach from the outcome. It will be for the greatest good, even if that doesn't match what you think would be the best in the circumstances. But when you speak from your heart, divine healing happens according to love's wisdom. When you place your hand on your heart and simply speak to the universe, asking for healing on whatever issue is troubling you, you are using the power of your heart to trigger an outpouring of love from the universal heart. Ask for what you need, for what you want, according to your divine birthright. Know that your heart is your ally, your best friend, and your guiding light, with you for your entire life, shining the truth of unconditional divine love from within. Whenever you need reminding you are special, you are worthy, and you are absolutely loved, because you are those things. And you will see that in True Caring Connections, and True Caring Connections will show you that. So there is a healing process here if you would like to do that. I'm going to kind of hold it up, and if you want to screenshot it or take a picture, feel free to. But I'm going to turn the page in a second. I just want to give you enough time in case the screen gets frozen or something like that. But this is the other side. And look at that. Underneath that is authentic voice. Maybe the mini message there has a message for you as well. But even just doing the affirmation, I think, is powerful. And I think that this is really beautiful because really, like, your heart is ready to receive love and share it and be vulnerable. And I feel like you're just gonna feel like, you know that episode of SpongeBob where he goes to Sandy's house and he's literally drying out and dying, but he refuses to say that he needs water until, like, he's literally about to die? I feel like you're gonna realize that. And once you have your fishbowl head, you know, you'll be good. Don't be ashamed to need love. Don't be ashamed to want love. Don't be ashamed to ask for what you want, ask for what you need, and affirm what you deserve. So pile number 2, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel, so thank you to everyone who does that. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my social media, you can check out my merch, you can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off all candles on Angelic Magic 888 site. You can check out other videos, especially ones with extended, so that's always helpful. Shout out to my notification squad if you want me to see your comments. You can either leave it up to fate, or I usually see things when I first upload. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope this reading resonated and brought you clarity and helped you figure out what the fuck is going on. So I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Goblin King card and this red heart, this is going to be your reading on what the F is going on. So we're going to start by looking at what is going on in your life. Obviously, if this doesn't resonate, then I would choose a different group or, you know, try a different video. I don't know. Live your life, do your thing. But if it does resonate, you have found the right group. So let's see what's going on in your life. So to start, we have Dumavati. Ancient ruins. Build a castle from the ruins. Devastation, loss, old wounds. And the temple path in reverse. Okay. I can see, I think this group is the reason why I made this reading, and I'm very glad you're here, but I want to start by saying whatever you're going through, I'm so sorry. I can definitely tell you're going through it right now, and you're not where you want to be. For some of you, I feel like despite whatever is happening right now, you have this weird feeling that everything's going to be just fine, or you're weirdly calm about everything that's happened. And I think that's actually a really good thing. And if you're not in that position, I think that's totally understandable. Whether something devastating has happened recently, whether you've lost something recently, or you're just in a position where maybe old losses or pain from old losses are surfacing in a way that's making it challenging for you to move forward, I see all of that here. I feel like there's an awareness that there's something, somewhere, someone, an aspect of self that you have to let go of. Maybe it was something you didn't necessarily want to do, but have to do. With the temple path being in reverse, it definitely seems like if you are a spiritual person, it seems like your spiritual side has definitely been on the back burner, which is completely understandable. And if you're not a spiritual person whatsoever, it's quite possible that these series of events are bringing you to some sort of spiritual awakening, or maybe they have recently and you're like, what is going on in my life? What is happening? And welcome to the club. It says the spiritual journey is one that never ends, but is full of twists, turns, and surprises. And most often, people have spiritual awakenings or things like that when there are particularly intense challenges or things happening in their life. So it definitely seems like you've either hit rock bottom recently or are just going through the process of moving through a rock bottom. I can definitely see there's a lot of disappointment, a lot of sadness, and I have to say, please stop beating yourself up, especially because I feel like a lot of the things that led to these endings were outside of your control anyway. It's just that, okay, maybe you weren't as prepared as you would have liked to be, or, you know, maybe there were signs before that you could have anticipated, but you didn't, and you can't change that now. And I definitely think there is a need for you to be gentle with yourself and give yourself permission to not know what you need to do, and give yourself permission to feel however you need to feel about what's going on in your life. Like, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be resentful. It's okay. Like, emotions are okay. Now, what you do with those emotions, that's a bit different. But I can tell from the lovely energy here, it's like, wow, even though you're going through all of this, it seems like you still always have enough for others. You always have enough for those you care about. And I feel like one thing that you're probably doing to get through this is reminding yourself that other people have it worse, or that it could be worse. And even though you're right, you don't have to deny the reality of what you're going through. For some of you, it could be quite intense, and my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry, whatever you're going through. I wish I could give you a big hug. My higher self is coming through to give you a big hug, and I hope you receive it. But one thing I do see here is that you're either being drawn towards your spirituality once more, or you could be drawn to the world of spirituality in general. And I do think that this is going to be massively transformative for you. Even if you've been a spiritual person for quite a long time, it's possible that the way that you practice your spirituality could change. Maybe you're transitioning from like a religious person to a spiritual person, or maybe you're a spiritual person finding a religion that works for you. I can just definitely see here there's this focus on, and likely awareness of, that your focus on the material realm has left you feeling on a soul level a bit dry, and also whatever is happening to you on the earthly planes, spiritual support would definitely be something that I think you're realizing you need in order to move through this time, which is totally understandable. I'm going to read this Dhumavati card really quick. She is a Hindu goddess. Any Hindu homies or anyone that works with is it Ma Dhumavati? I want to be as respectful as possible. This is just a really great guidebook, a yogic path or deck. Goddess of disappointment and letting go. You, my darling, have finally realized that all the hardships and struggles you faced were brought on your path for a very important reason. They shaped you to be the person you are today. You've put together the dots on all the most difficult points on your journey and realized it was all necessary to be here now. Dhumavati has come to remind you to give thanks to the struggles you faced. They have made you your higher self. And I can already feel that some of you are like very frustrated and annoyed by some of this, like the idea that you should be grateful for your struggles or hardships. And you don't have to take that if that's not for you. You know, if you ever do feel the need to find gratitude for them, you can do that in the future. But I think it's when we are in the throes of lifing really hard, it's hard to be like, oh, I'm so grateful for like life, like fucking my shit up, it's great, it's awesome. Like, be pissed, be mad, that's totally fine. Like, I kind of have this belief that we're never truly, we have, like, at least I won't say we, I'll say me, I haven't fully processed an experience until I can look back with either gratitude or an understanding or some sort of like positive lesson or something to take from it that brings me peace and allows me to move forward. And if I'm not able to do that around something, then I just give myself grace, and also give myself permission to not overthink and overprocess it, and just kind of leave it be. But I definitely think if you want to work on acceptance of your situation or find the silver linings in your situation, I highly recommend, you know, you could chant the mantra down here or look into just forgiveness work, acceptance, things like that. Because it definitely seems like you're at a place where it's time to go, it's time to move forward. Whether it was within your control or not, I can definitely see this is something that you wouldn't choose. And I think it's really interesting, you know, that you guys have the Goblin King card. If you've seen the movie The Labyrinth, you know, that's a movie all about growing up and accepting change and not letting fear or escapism have power over you. So I definitely feel like this is a very powerful time for you, and one that is quite intense. And I mean, I gotta be honest, this is some baller ass shit. Like, this is some heavy human stuff to handle and deal with. And I feel like it's important to remember that it's not personal. Like, this is just an aspect of the human experience, but it definitely just seems like you may have no clue where to go, what's going on, how to move forward, is it all going to be okay? And it might be one of those things too where it's like, things may have never been worse for you, but for some reason you just feel like it's going to be fine and are just in deep acceptance of it, which is great that you're in deep acceptance of it, not that you're dealing with that. But also, I think that there's kind of just this awareness. You're moving towards a new chapter in life, whether you want to or not. And I do feel like this new chapter is going to be lighter. I also feel like this chapter is going to be more unapologetic, in a way where you just kind of realize, like, the finite aspects of life and our humanity, and the reality of the fact that you deserve to fully go for it, and you deserve to take advantage of the time you do have. And also, you deserve to give less fucks about all of the chaos of the world that's not your problem, and actually focus on yourself. No wonder you have the capacity to still be so giving towards others. It's because that's what you do. You are used to serving others, helping others, being there for others, even if your world's on fire. And I definitely think, oh my gosh, your world's on fire. Now All Stars playing in my head. Hey, now you are an all-star. And maybe that's a song you need to listen to, but you are a shooting star that is going to break the mold. So pay attention to that. So what's going on? A lot of shit you probably wouldn't like to be happening, but that is very impactful and profound in terms of moving you where you're meant to go next. And your human self is processing the damage, the hurt, the trauma potentially, the emotions involved. And I think your human mind is trying to process everything and process these emotions and try to stay as centered as possible without fully like going off the deep end. And I think your spirit is quite optimistic about the future. And the spirit is not necessarily what our human body, emotions, and mind think and feel. So I do feel like your spirit, your higher self, has an awareness of where you're headed. And I feel like one thing that you're going to be experiencing is just greater connection to your higher self in ways where you just look at things in ways you wouldn't even 2 months ago, and you have acceptance and peace for things that you wouldn't normally. And there's a level of surrender here that's quite profound. So let's go ahead and get into the tarot and go a bit more deeply. And what I want to start by doing is looking at how can you rebuild at this time? What is the first thing that you can do to start rebuilding and moving forward? Actually, we will look at that, but I'm feeling called to ask why it happened, which is interesting because my conscious mind is a bit resistant to that, because I feel like the why might make you want to blame yourself, or because I feel like whatever the why is, you're like, there's no point in placing blame, whether it is your contribution or it isn't. But maybe there is something outside of your control Spirit wants you to be aware of. So Spirit, is there a reason, is there an answer to why for pile 3 that could be comforting, satisfying, give them clarity? I have all that I wish for in my relationships. So for some of you, if this loss was related to relationships, I definitely think the why this happened here is because there's more out there for you in the world. True, genuine fulfillment. Like the 10 of Cups is genuine fulfillment. But I feel like even if the loss, the devastation here wasn't in your control in any way, I do feel like there was a need for you to be moved. I do feel like there's a lot of scheming on the universe's part to bring you far more fulfillment and joy and connection than you currently have, especially if you recognize that you've been quite isolated or fearful or just stuck. It definitely seems like you've been in the wrong soil, or the things that you've been desiring while you've been in this past phase, the universe is setting them up now, is setting you up now to be able to go after what you want and to move in the direction of those things and find true and genuine fulfillment. In fact, I think when you're on the other side of this, you're going to look back and recognize this time as a very pivotal point where you went from being stuck in cycles of depletion and frustration and yearning to true fulfillment, true alignment, and a true understanding of what makes life worth it for you, what makes life truly meaningful, and how you can live a more meaningful life. So I guess the first thing we should start with then is, where do you go from here? So Spirit, where does pile 3 go from here? What advice do you have for them? We have the Queen of Wands. I'm naturally creative. Well, we have bad bitch energy straight out the gate. And I always like to remind y'all that bad bitch energy is gender neutral. Everyone here is a bad bitch. Where you go from here is trusting in the confidence you already have in yourself to rebuild and to create, but also trusting in your ability to attract what you need when you need it. This really feels like a time where you have nothing to lose. And so you're being encouraged to put yourself out there more, to do things that excite you, and to not shy away from using humor or using your wonderful personality to make your situation better, make connections, create solutions, or use creativity as a healing tool. I feel like more than anything, you don't need as much guidance as you think you do. There's kind of an intuitive process happening as you move forward that I don't think you realize, where you're just more competent and with it than I think you realize, and you have more energies, more inspiration, more creativity at your disposal than I think you recognize. And also, I think that you just have an attractive energy, and I think that you can attract more of what you want than you realize. I know I keep saying that over and over. So there's kind of this energy of just doing things, just going for it and not holding back. I also think that where you can go from here as well is speak your truth, share your light, take up space, and really just focus on what you can do to build yourself up during this time. Because I really do think, let's say that some of this situation happened in the past and you're in this process of rebuilding. I feel like there's a part of you, like as you're going through this process, you're going to be more and more like, well, I've handled this past event, I can do anything. And it's true, you can do anything. Where you go from here is a recognition of that you can do anything and that you don't have to have it all figured out. Obviously, don't listen, intuition should be balanced with logic in a way where you're not just, well, I guess at that point, it's really not intuition. If you're making objectively dumb decisions that you know won't do anything for you, but you're like, oh, my intuition's telling me to do it. But it's like, really, is it really your intuition, or is it just a desire for a certain thing that you probably know won't work out, but you're hoping it will? I don't think that's the case for a lot of you, but anyway, I definitely think whatever direction you want to head in, whatever you want to have more of in your life, wherever you want to create balance or create resolution, create healing, or just create a sense of hope, you can. You have the ability to do that, and also you're far more powerful than I think you realize. So where you go from here is wherever you really want to go. But I would focus on what fulfills you and where and what you've desired within this past cycle, and what you've been truly wanting, and trust where that leads you. But now I want to see something that you should remember when things seem to be too much, when you're overwhelmed, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling stuck. So what is something that pile 3 should remember, Spirit, when everything seems to be too much, when they're struggling? So we have the Knight of Cups. I know that the right person waits until I'm ready. And with the Nine of Wands, which is I am strong for as long as I need to be strong. So for some of you, this is definitely related to romantic relationships or something like that. And I think that this is a beautiful reminder of that. You might be worried that you are running out of time, or that you're late, or that you can't have what you want. Let go of your age. Like, there is no timeline for how things are meant to happen for people. And I do feel like your age might be something that you're stressing yourself out about a little bit. But I do feel like there is this important thing to remember, that you are stronger than you realize. And sometimes in life, we just have to grit our teeth and move through it until relief comes. And I think that if you're in a place right now, especially where you have desires maybe completely unrelated to what's going on in your personal life, and you're worried that all this chaos in your personal life is making it hard for you is making it impossible for that to happen. That's not true. If there's someone in your life you truly care about, for example, someone who's right for you will wait. But I also think with the Nine of Wands and the Knight of Cups, finding a way to romanticize life, giving yourself permission to be a little delulu sometimes, and just, when it's healthy and appropriate, give yourself permission to just feel things like whimsy and hope and joy. And obviously sometimes it's hard to conjure those up within us, but like, I'm thinking of Barbie movies, you know? The feeling that Barbie movies evoke, where it's like loving and sweet and magical, but there's still, hardship and, people doing things that they shouldn't. And it makes me think of specifically, my favorite Barbie movie is The Princess and the Pauper. And I think that movie actually is an excellent example of how love guides us. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a children's movie and it was written by people, but like, there's one, the songs go hard. I'm just gonna be honest. The songs go really hard and it holds up. And one of the lyrics that is really standing out to me is, when you live your dreams, you find destiny. It's written in your heart. And I think that's something to remember, is that your heart holds a lot of keys. And it's okay to take a break. It's okay to nope out. It's okay to escape into fantasy within balance, within reason, when you need it, especially when you're having to be strong, especially when you're having to hold it together, because that can be the difference between you completely breaking down and you having enough reprieve to keep going and moving forward. It's okay to sit down after you've been knocked down. It's just, give yourself the time you need, because you're getting back up. You've got this, and I believe in you. And don't be afraid to believe in natural resolutions, to believe in love finding you anywhere and everywhere. And I'm not just talking about like romantic love. I'm talking about like just things that you love, like people that love you, connection with creatures, connection with the planet, the ways that love can just lead us to things that make hard times a little bit easier. And just don't be afraid to validate how strong you are or validate how hard things are and the fact that you'll move through it and it'll be okay. I also feel like you're really being called to pay attention to anyone who might want to take advantage of you, or any feelings of fear within you that might cause you to act in ways that aren't in alignment with your integrity, and act in ways that aren't your true self. And I feel like that's a really important thing to understand, because when we are desperate, when we are fearful, it is easier for us to justify behavior that we wouldn't if we were in a more centered place, if we were in a more trusting place, if we were in a more if we were in a state of mind that's more clear. And so I really do feel like in those moments you're really being called to take a step back and remember, who are you truly? What are your values? And not let fear override your values, because I feel like that could be something that just makes this time more challenging for you. But I do want to see a blessing that is coming to you as you move through this time, maybe in the near future, or a blessing that's coming to you after you move through this time. So, Spirit, what's a blessing that's coming to pile 3 as they move through this time, or after they move through this time? That beautiful. We have the Queen of Swords. I protect what matters to me. Yeah, I like this. This to me is just reiterating the idea that you're becoming much more unapologetic, and just not letting people's BS, people's nonsense, and also the desire for people to be what you want them to be rather than who they are, leave you vulnerable to the fuckery of others. This is why I started your reading with saying F, is because I use that word quite frequently, and I don't want to get in trouble. But I think that when you have to stand up and take action, or say no, or put up boundaries, or do something that maybe a past version of you wouldn't, you'll have the capacity to do that, and you won't even feel bad about it. But also, I do think this Queen of Swords could be a person, someone that is protective of you and helps you. Maybe you're meant to meet them, or maybe this process will help you reconnect with them and just remind you what's important and help you stand up for yourself, or just help you know that you're not alone and that there are other people that protect and care for you. So this could be a reconnection, or just if there's someone in your life that you admire, that they're very unapologetic about their boundaries, about what they will and won't put up with. I definitely feel like this Queen of Swords energy is coming to you, and you're going to be taking it on for yourself in ways where a lot of the nonsense that maybe you put up with in the past, or that you had a hard time saying no to, that's just really not going to be the case anymore. Like I said, a key word for you in the future is unapologetic. That is how you are going to be, and I love that for you. So in terms of rebuilding and in terms of creating, I just want to see now what you can do to create, to manifest, to bring about what you want, and what is going to be the most effective action or mode of operation to bringing about your future, your goals, and what you truly want. So, Spirit, what can pile 3 do to manifest and create their true desires? What do they need to know at this time? What do they need to do to create the future they've always dreamt of and bring it into their present? First quarter moon in Libra, keep your heart open. And that's a big thing too, in terms of protecting what matters to you. Because let's say, for example, this is related to relationships, because there's a lot here around relationships, right? And I feel like maybe in the past you have seen people for what you wanted them to be, or maybe not you specifically, but let's say an example, like you've seen people for who you want them to be, not who they are, and so you missed red flags, or you put up with behavior you normally wouldn't, or let's say you have someone in your heart that other people don't think is right for you, and it's up to you to kind of say, you know, this is for me. You don't have to get it, you don't have to understand it, but this is what's important to me. But I also think that in a much more general sense, it's just hard on the heart to go through loss or disappointment. It doesn't have to be related to romantic relationships. Gosh, I even think like friendship breakups can be harder than romantic relationships sometimes, right? Or just losing something you care about, losing something that's important to you, saying goodbye to something that you loved or something that was familiar or a place in time. And I feel like Spirit's really saying, you know, don't close your heart. Don't let the pain of what's happening stop you from trusting in a beautiful future, trusting in where you're headed, and trusting that you are still so loved. I mean, you literally have the heart here. You'll be okay. And it's okay to not be okay. But I'm going to read from the guidebook here and see what it says to you about keeping your heart open. Are you too attached to someone or perhaps your current goal? It's a wonderful thing to care deeply. However, if you start to smother the person or situation you love, you could run into trouble. Work with others as you move towards your goals, but don't become so dependent that you give away your power. Keep your heart open. This card can also suggest it's time to negotiate something, and the way to manifest your goals now could be to come up with a solution that pleases everyone. Manifesting mix. There's a need to be adored here, which is fine. We all have that trait to an extent, but if it tips you into self-doubt, it's gone too far. Manifesting mindset. It's important that you don't allow yourself to get set in your ways. Keep your heart and mind open. Believe in your gorgeousness. Tune into your manifesting powers. The heart chakra, Anahata, is located in the center of your chest and is the gateway between the upper, more spiritual chakras and the lower, more earthly chakras. Visualize yourself with family, friends, and loved ones in a swirling, flowing column of beautiful and healing emerald green light. Hold this card. Well, you can't hold the card to your heart, but I guess you can hold your hand to your heart and call in the energy with these words. Energies of the first quarter moon in Libra. Thank you for showing me how to work with others and how to give and receive. I think the key word here is receive. I think some of you might be quite uncomfortable with receiving and might think that like a balanced reciprocal relationship is imbalanced because you're uncomfortable with receiving, so pay attention to that. The best time to work your magic is when the moon is in Libra, on a Friday, Venus's day, or during Venus's hour. I'm not going to page 16. This is already getting long enough and we have more to do. So you can Google that. The first quarter moon in Libra takes place when the sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Libra. It knows that someone giving can sometimes make everything better. And I think that there's encouragement here as well to not let those that have disappointed you, not let disappointing experiences, and not let your mistakes or follies be something that makes you feel like you can't open up again, that you can't trust others, or that you can't trust yourself to open up to others and face the unknown, because you can. I forgot to do this earlier, but this card is going to represent an affirmation or just something that you are learning about yourself through this process, or that you are being encouraged to learn about yourself through this process. So the vibe is, I'm starting with the man in the mirror, asking him to change his ways. Beware of the shadow cast by the Goblin King, who thrives on using others for his own gain. Let his presence be a warning beacon, guiding you to choose integrity over control and to recognize that true strength comes from respect and collaboration, not dominance. And the affirmation is, I wield my power with integrity and respect, never using others for personal gain. Which I feel like for a lot of you, you don't. But maybe this situation is one where like someone has used you in that way, and maybe you're feeling, or maybe you've thought like, well, then maybe I should just be doing that because maybe it's not authentic, maybe it's not real. And I feel like this is like, don't forget your heart, don't forget your truth. That's not you. And the people that do that, like, I'm not going to go too hard on them, but they're weak. They're weak, and they have wounds and shit going on with them that has nothing to do with you. And it truly is not a reflection of your value or your worth. It's a reflection of how they feel about themselves, and a reflection of their ability to receive, their inability to receive what they desire in healthy ways. So we're going to go ahead and finish this reading off now with a guidance card that, number one, will have a being in it that you can pray to or work with, or that is supporting you, whether you connect with them or not, and and hopefully give you an idea of like the deeper purpose of what's going on right now, like what soul lessons you're learning, and how these experiences are helping you grow and just becoming more of your beautiful, wonderful, badass self. So what is the deeper soul purpose of this time for pile 3? Who is working with them and supporting them through this process, and what do they need to know moving forward? Love it. We have Angel Raziel and Petersite, Storm Wisdom. Petersite is kind of an expensive stone, but it is a really, really cool one. I don't know if I have any over here. I think I do. I should. I just wanted to show you guys in case it would be helpful. Yeah. Here's some Petersite right here. It's kind of a darker version, but there's blue tones in it. I don't know. I think she's really gorgeous. And yeah, let's read this card and see what it has to say. So I also love too that every group got angels and every group got a Hindu god or goddess, because this deck doesn't just have gods and goddesses, it has energies too. So I feel like there's just a lot of beautiful energies surrounding and supporting everyone who came to this reading, including you. We bring you the gift of storm wisdom. This is the fierce cleansing nature of divine compassion made manifest in the world. Storm wisdom thrills the spirit, for it understands that so much benefit and liberation will come from this process. Yet the mind may quake at the process of such little control over how your life events are unfolding at this time. What is happening during an experience of storm wisdom is that anything that has become stagnant or obstructing to your spiritual growth will be uprooted. You may find that the storm of transformation powering through your life creates a feeling of upheaval, creative chaos, uncertainty, and excitement. You may feel simultaneously liberated and exhilarated, whilst also wondering if everything is going to be okay. You must remember that you will only be asked to give up something in order to receive that which is far more beautiful and supportive of your sacred life journey, that 10 of Cups. You must also remember that the cleansing power of the storm will revitalize you, bring you fresh energy and the perspective to take forward in your journey, and is a divine blessing which will only bring good into your life. Whilst the mind often wants to hold on and maintain the status quo, fearing change, the soul thrills at the prospect of joy, happiness, and fulfillment that growth brings. It is so devoted to the manifestation of divine love in the world that it is willing to go through the growing pains to bringing the inspiring, vitalizing life of the spirit into the beautiful form of the body. The soul knows that temporary discomfort can bring tremendous gains for the spiritual path, and ultimately far greater joy and pleasure in life for the body too. The mind may need reassurance from the heart that all will be well during times of great change, and the wild blessing of storm wisdom is one such time. Perhaps you already felt a sense of discontent or restlessness in your body, mind, or soul, feeling that a change is needed, even if you aren't sure what that might best be, or you've already experienced that and are trying to process. Maybe the storm already happened. For some of you, the storm might be coming or currently happening. Or perhaps you're feeling that your life has finally settled down. You're quite happy for it to remain as it is for years to come. No matter whether you are in the midst of this storm of change already, just recovering from it, or waiting for it to move its cleansing grace through your life, know this: storm wisdom is love in action. It is not going to harm you, and you do not need to fear it. It is going to cleanse you on all levels and allow for more life, vitality, purpose, and passion to enter your world. You will love the outcome that eventually manifests for you as the blessing takes shape. I told you, you will be really happy when you look back. But you will need to reassure yourself that even amongst great change, whether that be something more internal or shows up as big external changes in your life, it is safe to trust life. When the Oracle of Storm Wisdom comes to you, there is a special message for you. If you are already in the midst of a transformational change, perhaps that which is deeply challenging, and you cannot see any end in sight, or are worried that the changes are going to be devastating, have faith. The storm is wild, yes, but it is filled with grace. You are being helped. You shall come through this, and the reason the storm was needed in your life is because a gentler method would not have been sufficient to free you. Divine intervention and protection, liberation and purpose is behind the storm raging in your life. So I guess there's a why for you, because we love you. We want you to have all that your heart and soul desires. It is love that moves you. Go with it. Do not resist. If you feel emotional as you read these words, you are recognizing truth. Trust in the responses of your feelings and know that all will be well according to a compassionate higher wisdom. If you do not yet see the storm in your life, do not be afraid. This oracle can indicate a time where there is much movement after a period of stagnancy, where nothing seems to be moving forward. It's the burst of fresh air and life that increases your vitality and inspires you, whipping you up in a loving whirlwind of new opportunity, connection, and love. There are those minds that fear the storms of life because they don't trust in the benevolence of the universe and how much they are actually loved. Then there are those that trust life and feel loved. They are the ones that stand head tilted up, arms flung open wide, yelling woohoo as the rain pours down, the winds howl, and the fresh, cold air cleanses body, mind, and soul. Be the lover of life who boldly receives love's grace now. Let change be a welcome gift of love's eternal grace, for that is what it is in truth. Which I think is so beautiful, and honestly, words better than what I could have said myself. So there is a healing process here if you would like to do that and facilitate that. I'm just going to kind of hold it up for a second. I know sometimes things can be laggy, but if you want to screenshot it and do it for yourself, please, please, please feel free to. Hopefully I got the messages out. Hopefully it resonated, but you know, more than anything, my heart is with you, and I just want you to know that you will be okay. Everything will be okay, and that much brighter days are ahead of you. And I'm just realized I'm moving this and folding this, so I guess I will just have to stand here and talk for a second. I guess I can start my outro. So pile 3, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel. So thank you to everyone who does that. If you would like to support me in other ways, you can like this video. You can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. You can click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch. You can check out my social media. You can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ACE10 for 10% off. You can check out other videos, especially ones with extendeds, but that is all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope that these messages resonated and brought you peace and clarity. I love you guys so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!